It actually looks like it's been such a fun series, but we're going to get to that in just a second because, of course, The Apprentice Final Five join us now alongside Lord Sugar's trusted advisor, Tim Campbell. Hi, guys.
Hey.
What was funny is when Lord Alan Sugar came up on the screen, all the girls went...
Everyone sits up straight. That's what they're supposed to.
But Tim, obviously, you know, you're there. You can be scary at times. They've got to impress you as well. How has this season been for you?
Well, it's been an amazing season. We're just the peripheral end treatment, watching what they're doing, feeding back to Lord Sugar, because essentially he's got to make the decisions. But it's really good to be able to see them go through all these different tasks to try to secure that £250,000 investment, which will be transformational to their life. And they're so close to it now with just 2 weeks left.
You know what it's like. You've been there, you've done it. So when you're judging them and you're feeding it back, is it kind of how the task ends that you care about? Is it the end product or is it how they behave during it?
I think it's a combination of both, because I think it's really important. Yes, we've got to have a winner. There's always got to be some situations we've seen this season where nobody wins and everyone's dragged back and shocks the hell out of them. But the reality is that I want to be able to feed back to Lord Sugar how they performed as individuals, but also as a team. Because essentially this is about him picking a business partner he's going to work with, somebody he's going to invest the money in and hopefully grow a really...
If you're chucking someone under the bus all the time, you don't want that as your business partner,
100%,
right?
because I think what we're showing to young people and slightly older ones is that the ethics of business is as good as in winning.
Yeah.
It's not just about securing the money or crossing the finish line. How did you do that? Because that's how you'll be measured as well.
Well, also, I mean, we love it when the challenges are ridiculous because it's just great telly. Let's go to you, Amber Rose. Your favourite task was the selling, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it's such an iconic task. I feel like it's one of those tasks that all of the candidates kind of want to get to. There's so many components that make up that task and it's so challenging, but it's also so entertaining. I think for the viewer as well, it's such an enjoyable watch. So, yeah, I think this year especially, I think the girls really smashed it. I think we kept our composure. I'm going to say that. I really enjoyed it. It was a great time.
Amber Rose, what prompted you to take part? Because your story's really interesting. Your mum was an immigrant and came over here. You're sort of representing that second generation. That's hugely important to you.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important for me to showcase, what it's like to be an entrepreneur of this generation. To be a South Asian woman in business is so important to me. I'm trying to be the representation that I wanted to see growing up. And, I didn't come from a lot and I've had to work since a very young age. I was working since the age of 14. And I think that's always, instilled that entrepreneurial spirit in me because I've always kind of wanted more and wanted to kind of help build more, not only my life, but my family's life as well. So that was really the cause.
That's incredible. That's such a good motivation as well. And Anissa, I don't want to bring the mood down, but you...
I know what you're going to say.
You've lost the most tasks, so were you surprised to actually make it to the final five?
The thing is, I came into this to win it, so even though I lost, my team lost the most, every week I put a fight in, I wanted to get to the final and I've achieved it, so I'm happy with that.
Well, there's got to be a reason why you got to the final, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to be fair, Lord Sugar could have fired me 8 times, but he didn't. And I'm still here, so I'm proud of that.
How did you feel going into that interview round?
Actually, obviously it is nerve-wracking because we know every year they come out with so many questions and you never know what's going to happen. But I was also quite calm with it because now it's finally about the business. And that's what I came in the show for, so I got to speak about my business. So that was the best part.
Yeah, I mean, I would be terrified in that situation. Chizola, let's talk about what's been your highlight of the season. What have you enjoyed doing?
I think for me, it definitely has to be the fashion task. That was definitely one that I absolutely loved. I think I am a bit of a fashionista.
Of course.
And also, I was project manager, got the win, and, us as a team, we went straight through to the final five. So that was an incredible moment for me.
Also, just quickly, when you have, 20 minutes to get ready? Is that real or is that telly?
No, it is real. We do have 20 minutes, but, with TV, you have to get mic'd up and you have to have a bit of breakfast, but we do genuinely have 20 minutes to get ready, and it's tough.
What, and it could be 3 in the morning, genuinely?
Yeah, it's absolutely...
4 in the morning?
Or even earlier.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So are you going to bed every night, you guys going, oh, God, what time's it going to be? If I get to bed by 11, it means that I might get 5 hours.
You don't even know what time
You know what time you're going to bed?
You've got no idea. There's no clocks, there's no watches
we wake
around.
up with a phone call.
Yeah.
This
There's
is
no
the
clock.
This is the toughest interview process in the UK.
We can give him the time of day.
No.
You're not even giving him the time of day.
Some form of torture.
Privileges are for the elite.
It's not privileges, it's just the time of day. Gisela, you're a qualified nurse as well. What made you move from nursing into business? Was that be something you'd like to incorporate?
Yeah, no, definitely. I love being a paediatric nurse. I'm still qualified now. I can still practice, and I still do. And I love that, but I've gained so many transferable skills that I've then taken with me into starting up my own business and starting my company. And I've just loved being able to kind of merge the two together.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that you do in nursing. You're caring, you're personal, you're dealing with a lot of people. And I think in business, dealing with people is one of the key things. And being able to be good with dealing with people is definitely a key aspect to business.
Well, if you can handle Lord Sugar, you can handle anyone.
No one handles Lord Sugar. Let's get this right, shall I?
Okay, if you can just about scrape
There you
through,
go, there
then
you
you
go.
can do anything. Dean, let's talk to you, because tonight, your interview, I've heard you found it pretty hard.
Yeah, a bit embarrassing for me, this one.
Oh, no, bless you. Because they obviously unpick everything, don't they?
Yeah, and Mike does. He literally goes in.
So did you have a few exaggerations maybe on the old CV, or was the business plan picked apart?
You'll have to wait and see, because I was not expecting it. He literally threw it across the table at me and my mouth hit the floor.
Oh, no. And Dean, your parents encouraged you to be a tradesman, which I know you're very proud of, aren't you? That kind of blue-collar past.
So I was the only tradesman in the series, and the only parent as well.
Oh, wow.
So I was the only one with kids. But yeah, my mum and dad, they drummed it into me at a young age. If you get a trade, you can work anywhere in the world.
Well, haven't you fitted the aircon here?
I have. I've literally done the air conditioning in
You
this
told us
building.
how to turn it down.
I will, but I have to send you
We
an
have a
invoice.
chat afterwards.
Jordan, what about you? Youngest one on The Apprentice this season.
Yeah, I was the youngest this year. I think at the beginning I was the baby of the house, so I wasn't cleaning many dishes. But no, I think as it went on, you know, I grew in the process, and Lord Sugar commented on that as well. And yeah, to get to the final five is amazing, but I'm there to win.
Also, Jordan representing First Irishman to get to the final five.
First Irishman to make it to the final five, you know, making history, showing the young men that it's possible. You know, the Irish people don't tend to do too well on the show, so I wanted to go on and change that.
That's
and
not made up. We didn't do that on purpose. It's just Irish community before I started.
Absolutely not. But from day one, people were like, Jordan, he's a nice lad, but he won't do well. And they thought I was delusional, but I kept saying, I'm going to win this show. I'm going to go all the way.
Because of your age, do you think?
I don't know why, but maybe I just talk too much.
You enjoyed the house and the pool too much. And,
Yeah. Listen, it was a big £10 million mansion. Some days the elevator wasn't working, so it was very difficult. You know, we had to walk up the stairs.
I don't know the time, I have to go up the stairs. The struggle's real, my friends. Tim, does age matter at all? Like, people are watching this.
No. I think the reality is that age is not a factor that people take into consideration, particularly when we're selecting the potential business partners for Lord Sugar. What matters is authenticity, how passionate you are about your particular area of business, and how determined you are not just to win, but to work amongst your team. Because what Lord Sugar, as you've already highlighted, is looking for somebody he's going to work with after the show, after the cameras are off. And these candidates have done exemplary throughout the whole process. And I'm really proud to see them in this stage of the process. And let's see where they get to next.
it's mad that they all know.
It's so annoying.
They know, but they can't tell us.
They know, they can't tell us. It's like when you meet the traitors. It's so annoying. Well done, you guys.
Yeah, well done, and good luck to whoever it is that's going to get there. But look, you can watch The Apprentice continue tonight, 9 p.m. on BBC.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
But here, he's here to talk about another passion, writing children's books.
Greg, I mean, you still look 20, so I don't even know how that's physically possible, do you?
Thanks,
It's
Sharon.
unbelievable.
Thank you.
But as well as radio and smashing it there, you are smashing it in the kids' book world. Again, rivalry with you, Dermot.
No
Sorry.
rivalry. We are stronger combined.
You're
Our powers combined.
Strong together. The Kid Who Fell Through Time. This is your 9th book, Greg.
Out today.
Congratulations.
Out today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's out today.
Happy publication
How on
day.
earth-
Yeah.
When did you find the time to be writing these books?
Good question. Well, you know, you do a breakfast show. You can have, if you have a nap, you can make a productive afternoon out of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, nice.
I've been writing with Chris Smith, my wonderful friend, for nearly 10 years now. Started with the Kid Normal series, Then we had Super Ghost and The Great Dream Robbery, and we did Twits book last year for the Roald Dahl story.
Yeah,
We did
great.
The Twits Next Door. I came on, actually talked about it on this morning, not so long ago. And now we've got The Kid Who Fell Through Time, which is our first time travel story, and we had such a laugh writing.
How does your writing process work? Like, do you do a chapter and then send it to him, and he does a chapter, send it to you? How does it work?
We actually brainstorm it in the pub.
Yeah.
Great.
Brainstorm the whole plot, workshop all the voices, because that's a huge part of it. We want these books to come alive.
What, so you're doing that, the character
We're doing the
voices?
characters in the pub.
Oh, you can. So if anyone sees you sort of going, hello,
Yeah.
don't
Get a
think
room
what's
in the pub
plot.
and just do it in a pub.
In the pub. Yeah.
So just like people come up and go, all right,
Yeah.
Greg, let's talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
what happened on the radio today. You're like,
Yeah. And I'm there going, I'm evil Emperor Crag. Or things like that.
Great.
Is it the same pub?
Same pub.
Always a quiet pub.
Yeah, always fun.
Yeah, yeah.
All the locals obviously think that you've lost the plot from years of radio, but actually...
They know that.
They know
They
that
know that.
anyway, but
Yeah.
also on the side, great books coming out of it.
Yeah, well, we want them to be read aloud, really. We want kids to not be scared of books, not to be scared of reading, because there's a lot of stuff to read.
Yep.
And at school, you're forced books and things, and that has to happen sometimes. But we want them to enjoy books for pleasure. Audiobooks, reading them out loud with your friends or your mum and dad or your big brother or big sister. That's how we do it. And Chris and I have workshopped these books for ages. We just go, what's the funniest, silliest, stupidest story we can tell? And can there be some sort of message in there as well? And this one we really love because this is a kid called Angus who doesn't really want to do his history homework.
Right.
He goes, what's the point? I don't care about people who were around 5,000 years ago. Who cares? What does that mean? So he time travels back to the time that he's studying and then delivers the greatest homework he's ever delivered.
What's his vessel? How does he time travel back there?
Oh, good
I'm glad
question.
you asked.
Great question.
I'm glad you asked, because that was one of the early brainstorms. We went, how are we going to do this? And it's a shopping trolley with a wonky wheel.
Yeah.
Oh,
He just finds it.
perfect.
It's the first one by accident.
Well, so he meets Marge, who runs the cheese counter at the local supermarket.
Yes.
Marge is from Arges.
Marges from Marges, very good.
And she is renowned in the area because she can find the greatest cheese ever. And all the customers are like, where's this cheese coming from? And she goes, I can't tell you that, dear. But it actually comes from the ancient times or cheese from the future.
Oh, so she's getting them from the past.
She's got a little hooky
Sneaking
deal.
them onto
She's
her
got a hooky
counter.
deal with some Romans.
Of course.
Yeah,
the
so
Romans
the
and
idea is that Angus is the kid who just goes, do you know what, I don't know why this is interesting. This is boring. So he goes back to ancient Egypt, goes back to ancient Rome, goes back and hangs out with Shakespeare. Emmeline Pankhurst turns up. He also goes into the future to meet a horrible villain from the future. We had such a good time writing this.
Yeah, and didn't you say it's actually a very funny... Like, you said it was
Yeah.
funny, but it's one of your funniest books you've done.
Well, I like to think so. Yeah, it's really fun. We had a lot of fun because the idea of writing something about Shakespeare, because we know a lot about him, we know a lot about the Romans, but sort of twisting that is funny. So we came up with the idea of that Shakespeare's hair loss was due to time travel because obviously you're travelling at warp speeds.
Love
So
that.
your hair goes, and that's so there's little bits in there. But there is actually some good historical stuff. We went to the British Museum and did some days out there. We did lots of reading around the Key Stage 2 stuff and be like, let's get this as right as possible, but also mess with it a little bit.
In terms of plot, how does it kind of, not how does it finish, but what's the, you know, has he got an enemy?
Well, he's got to save the world.
Right.
Angus has to save the world from evil Emperor Crag from the future,
Yeah.
who's seen everything and is then in charge. So we've got to also make sure that all the trolleys from the various time periods get back to where they're supposed to get back
Brilliant.
to.
This is the thing with time travel. You start
Difficult.
altering the past, don't you, and making all sorts of mistakes
Very
along
tricky.
the way.
Moral questions.
A lot of
along
moral
the way.
questions.
You do an audiobook as well. Who does the audiobook? You or Chris? Or
So Chris does the narration,
Yeah.
OK.
and then I do all the voices.
You're
that's
the characters.
great.
Yeah.
So go on, give us some of your characters. So you've got Crag. What's he like?
Evil Emperor Crag from the 99th century.
99th century.
99th century, loads in the future. There's actually a new character called the Fact Pig. The Fact Pig pops up, and he's a really annoying fact pig who goes, did you know that in ancient Rome they used to use moss instead of toilet paper?
Right.
I love that. So there's a little bit of learning in there that you're sneaking in with the fun.
And then we sort of slag the fact pig off and say, like, all right, and that's enough, you're interrupting the story. So they're very interactive books, and we want the readers to sort of feel the presence of me and Chris in them when we're telling them the story.
Did you, when you first started this, because I sort of fell into writing children's fiction, I just had an idea,
Yeah.
and it happened to be a kid's book.
Toto.
Right? And then it's only when you start doing school tours then it sort of hits you that actually people are reading these books.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's that moment where you meet a parent and they go, well, my kid reads because they love the book. That's the moment that hit me like a frying pan in the face.
Yeah, yeah.
Does the same happen to you? Like when you do the schools tours and you actually go and meet kids, and they dress up for World Book Day or something, you realise how important it is for children to be reading and parents to be reading to children.
Yeah, it's actually the greatest. It's the greatest joy of doing them because you get to go and do assemblies, and you get to just be in front of these amazing imaginations. And actually, when a kid sees an author, they go, "Oh, it's a person."
Yeah.
Yes.
Like when I first saw a radio presenter, I went, "Oh, it's just a bloke. Yeah. Oh, I could do that. Yeah. Maybe I could do that if I grow up one day."
Yeah.
And the same for being an author. You sort of want to get rid of the mystery a little bit and go, no, you can do this. This is a thing. You should write some stories, and this is not a complete sort of mystery to you. And also, I think it helps them go, oh, maybe books are. I get that. You sort of see the person who's written it. You get that they're sort of into it and everything, and actually just being in front of all those ideas is very inspiring, actually.
The funniest thing is when you meet kids, because most of the kids know your books better than you know your books.
Oh,
so they'll come up and just like pull you up on stuff. They'll go, in book 2, you said Toto's favourite cheese was camembert, but in book 5 it's cheddar, and you're like,
Yeah, they're brutal.
You are very good, aren't you? Let's just sign it for you. Off you go. Yeah.
Brutal reviews. In fact, there was we were doing this show in Manchester, this radio show in Manchester the other day, and this kid, he must have been about 18 or 19, came up to me, and he was dressed in all like a big North Face jacket, and he looked a bit shifty, and I was like, oh, what's going on? He went, Greg, I just wanted to say, like, yeah, what? You want my phone? What's going on? He went, yeah, I read Kid Normal when I was 10.
Oh,
like,
nice.
I was like, oh my God, I feel so old.
Yeah.
But that's amazing that you read those books
8 years ago, and now it's
that long
18.
ago. But it's that everyone has got a favourite book, and everyone's got a book that they fall in love with reading through, hopefully, and that's what we should desperately try and do. And that's what, as children's authors, we want to do, and all authors want to do that, and make sure that people are reading and enjoying stories, because it's not just about finding books and enjoying and getting lost in those stories. That's an amazing thing, but actually some of the stats around literacy rates are devastating. And it's not about, oh, yes, well, we read Dickens and, Charlie read Dickens when he was 8. It's not that. It's more like you won't be able to send an email if you can't read. You won't be able to get a job. You won't be able to pay a bill. You won't be able to read a road sign. I think so. Yes, it's wonderful to do funny books and all that sort of stuff, but actually there's a really crucial bit at the heart of it, which is you just got to read anything for pleasure, whether it's a graphic novel, a comic, something fun that you've seen in a magazine. That is reading, and it's not just about you have to sit down and read Chaucer. Find something that you enjoy as a kid, and I think that opens up a whole world, really.
I think it's brilliant. I think it just works as well. I mean, I know I've heard you do some sort of radio show in the morning. I'm not 100% sure what time it's on, because I have too busy doing.
I'm actually here to steal you for my show, because you got Jordan and Chris. I'm taking you to Radio 1 if that's right.
Is that how it works?
You up for it?
Oh, OK.
Oh, it's 1 for 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why not all swap out and do each other's
Just swap out. Or just join forces.
Greg's latest book, The Boy Who Fell Through Time, is out today. Well done, Clever Clogs. Lovely to see you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for letting me be on.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now, if you're on the hunt for a new drama to binge over the Easter holidays, our next guest has got the series for you.
Listen, all you need to know is Neighbours at War, Bodies in a Garden, and Jill Halfpenny at Loggerheads with Larry Lamb. If that doesn't sell it, nothing does. It's the new 5 drama, The Feud. Take a look.
I think we should do the kitchen, the extension.
Seriously?
Hey, where would you stay in?
We'll just have to see what the rest of the street make of it.
Surely you don't want this extension any more than we do.
They're our friends, Derek.
Are they? Are you sure?
I think she's a bit suspicious of him. It's fascinating what you can say on this. You trying to blackmail me?
I know an affair when I see one.
I want the cash.
Why are you lying to me?
I'm not lying.
Just stop it!
You're not moving our tree.
Why? You got something to hide?
He's not a good person.
Oh, God.
Call the police.
Who knows what goes on behind these doors?
Oh, the curtains are twitching.
Oh, I'm in. Jill, thank you so much for joining us. I love the concept of this drama. When I was told it all spans from an extension being built, I thought, yes, this feels very funny, very British, but also it's going to have its dark twists and turns.
Yeah, I think this is like a classic tale of there's something really bad happening in your life. So for Emma, her relationship is not good. She knows it's breaking down.
With Rupert Penry?
With Rupert, I know. Who'd have thought it? But she doesn't want to go there. It's too difficult. So she goes, I know what I'll do. I'll create some chaos somewhere else in my life, and then I won't have to think about that thing.
Like a distraction.
Like a distraction. You pull the thread, and it all unravels. So that's what she does. She's like, I don't want to look there, I'm going to look here, and she just causes chaos.
So where does the conflict with Larry... Because Larry plays your dad, right?
So Larry plays my dad, and my dad is... So Emma's a lawyer, my character's a lawyer, and my dad is sort of... he doesn't do things by the rules, let's just say that. And Emma and him really clash. But obviously when Emma wants something, and she wants it to go her way, then she asks her dad to do her some little favours.
Still her dad, right?
That might not align with who she is, and gets herself into deeper trouble.
Her dad is 100% not a lawyer.
He's 100% not a lawyer. He's the opposite of a lawyer.
I think what was going to be so relatable about this is that we've all had feuds with the neighbours, and obviously it all kicks off when this extension's going to be built. They're not happy about it.
Yes.
And that's sort of the crux of it.
That's the crux of it, but Emma can't understand because they're keeping a secret. And she doesn't quite know what the secret is, but there have been rumours flying around the street about the fact that their neighbour's son disappeared at some point and was never seen again. So there's just so many people holding on to so many lies that everybody is suspicious of everybody else. And then, of course, we've got Alex McQueen's character who sits at his CCTV desk
he's
and basically films the whole street. He's hilarious. You can't get through one take with him without laughing.
I was going to say, I mean...
I know him from The In-Betweeners, you know, that's how I recognise him.
But for a serious kind of drama, you've picked an awful lot of people I imagine would make
really funny people.
Yes,
we had such a... I mean, for such a serious...
Jamie Lee O'Donnell's fantastic.
Really
Alex
funny.
McQueen. Is it James Head as well? I mean, come on.
I mean, honestly, they were all, like, brilliant, like, lovely people, but, yeah, very funny. It was really hard to keep a straight face.
So your character's gone full on, like, Jordache, and she thinks it's under... The body's under the patio, kind of Brookside.
She just goes... she just loses all perspective, because, like I said at the beginning, really there's something that she doesn't want to face. There's something she doesn't want to look at. So then it means that she goes full-on suspicious of everyone and everything else.
Right.
Because really the biggest problem is staring her in the face, yeah.
It's funny because you're going to have the whole of the UK suspicious of any planning permission they've had turned down. They'll be like, right, what's going on in that neighbour's garden? And that's what I love about that. And also, because of the cast, it's just... you're going to fall in love with the characters, aren't you? I think very quickly you're going to sort of...
It's very character-driven.
Yes.
Even though there's a lot that happens, it is very character-driven. And, yeah, like you say, there's some really big personalities in there.
Did you produce this as well?
No, I didn't.
Well, it's just because I see here you've moved back to Newcastle to film it. It's a very convenient...
Oh, yeah.
Someone knows someone that knows someone.
You know, it's so strange. So it's really lovely, but in the past couple of years, I've filmed a couple of times in Newcastle, and in the sort of 35 years I've been doing this, I've only really done, like, I think, 5 jobs ever.
Biker Grove is the one we remember you from as well in the early days. Do you still hear from the boys? Do you ever chat to them?
No, I don't really. I mean, maybe at awards ceremonies and things like that, I might see them. But they're usually on stage receiving something, so...
But when they say... Because they
that's
said...
true. They're always cleaning up somewhere, aren't they?
Tell me about it. When they said they were going to bring Biker back, but would that be a reworking of... Like, they were not going to bring it back as in you're going to send it in the 80s. You're going to bring it back modern day.
Guys, I think you'd have to ask what their idea was. I mean, you know, when it first started, it was supposed to be something that was a bit realer, maybe a bit sort of more gritty than maybe a Grange Hill, and people really loved it, and maybe if they took it back to its roots, it would really work. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Well, thrillers are more your thing now. It's like, are they more fun to work on, in a way?
I think it's just that there's an appetite for thrillers at the minute, so a lot of people are making them.
Yeah.
I think people like to sort of, you know, sit and watch it with their family and, oh, my, you know, grabbing each other's hands, and I can't believe that's happened. And they're just fun, aren't they? They're just, you know, and especially when it's in such a domestic setting, you think, that could be me.
That's what I like about this.
That could be me.
And to be fair to Five, they're killing it on the dramas.
Yeah, they are.
They really make loads, and they're not... They're quite gutsy, aren't they?
They are, yes, yeah. They take big swings and I love them for that.
Now, the words every actor wants to hear is your son wants to be an actor.
Oh, my. I know.
How old is he?
Like, no,
he's just about to turn 17. But you know what? I talked to James about this on A Feud, and I was saying, like, you know, would you feel about that? And he was like, but acting's a great life. It's like we focus so much on the rejection, and we don't want that for our children.
Yes.
Oh, they'll be rejected and they'll be really sad. But actually, if somebody said to me, go back and live your life again, would you choose to be an actor? I think I still would, you know. I really like it. It's a great life. So
It's such a noble thing to do as well, isn't it? Just get out there, you know, let your reach exceed your grasp. Go for it.
It's going to really test my parental skills to be like, yeah, go, fail, fall down, get back up again. I'll just be here waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you might end up being one of those mums that's there in the background, sort of miming every
Can you
word.
imagine doing the lines, just being on set? Awful. No, that'll never be me.
It'll be like, Mum, leave me to it. I'll find my own thing. That was so good. And also, we need to talk about Strictly because we were just discussing how you won it. What was it, like 20 years ago now?
Yes.
Which is unbelievable to think. It doesn't feel that long ago at all.
I know.
Was that a lot of fun to do or was it just hard work?
It was so much fun. It was so hard work.
I hear
as
that
well.
it's brutal training, isn't it?
Yes, but I don't know, there's something so exhilarating about dancing every single day.
Yeah.
And your body changes and you suddenly feel a bit more alive and it was just great.
Here's what I don't get.
go on.
Sorry.
No, go on.
It's like when we look back at old clips of Dawson's Creek and this, and you're like, because we're used to high definition now, look back 20 years ago and were we all blurry back then? Or like...
Bring back the blur.
It was like an
Bring back the blur.
campaign.
100%, yeah.
Yeah,
Bring back...
I'm all for the blur.
I'll vote for you, Jill. Trust me, I'm with you. Bring back the blur immediately. Thank you.
Oh, we're looking forward to getting binging this. Thank you so much for coming in and getting us all excited again about another crime drama. We love it. The Feud actually starts Monday night, 9 p.m. on
Hi, everyone.
Five.
Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. The
Laura
film is
joins us
completely
now.
bonkers.
This is so brilliant. So, firstly, congratulations on a great year.
Oh, thank you. I mean, we'll see.
We absolutely, everyone touch wood.
Touch wood, but we don't need to. We believe in you because you're on a roll and you deserve it. Like, honestly, it's brilliant. It's so nice chatting to you again. Because last time I chatted to you, we were talking Gavin and Stacey and you keeping that secret for so long.
Yeah.
And now look, so where do we start? Should we start with the film?
Let's start with the film. What can you tell us about that?
Well, so as you saw in the trailer, Ruth and Megan own a vintage shop and they find a time machine by the bins. And
This is a Dodgem.
Yes.
Yeah, Dodgem car.
And they use the Dodgem time machine
Yeah.
as a freeway to go back in time and get stock. It's very cost effective.
It's so funny. What a funny concept. So their antique shop is just full of stuff they've nicked from the past.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
But as the title would suggest, time travel is dangerous.
Time travel is dangerous.
And chaos and hilarity ensue.
It's so funny because those two girls really did own a shop.
They do.
They do own
you
the
can
shop.
Go. They own a vintage shop in Muswell Hill, yeah. They're not actors. They, I mean, they are acting in this, but it's sort of a mockumentary style thing. And so then me and Kyle play a younger Sophie Thompson and Brian Bovell when they used to present this, like a science TV show in the 80s.
Tomorrow's World.
Yes,
kind of
exactly.
vibes, yeah.
But it only occurred to me this morning that we play young them and we present this show with Johnny Vegas, and Johnny Vegas just is Johnny Vegas in both time periods.
Some of the best
He's
comedy.
ageless.
It doesn't need explaining. We just need to just take it.
It's
Do you know
just
what I
one of the many
And
quirks.
where does your characters come into the narrative of the show? What?
So Ruth and Megan get obsessed with watching the VHS of the show that we're in. And then us in the future, our characters in the future basically sort of explain to them that time travel is dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's chaos.
And is it chaos as in they go back and they can alter time, or they just go back and get into japes in, like, Norman era?
Their time
Victorian?
travelling is causing problems, basically.
Like a ripple effect.
Yes. There's a lot of science, but you don't need to understand it because it's very funny, even if you know nothing about science.
Yeah.
Yeah, quantum physics. Where are you with that, Laura?
I'm nowhere with that.
OK, good. Me neither.
But I can do a good Sophie Thompson impression, and that's what's important.
Exactly.
here.
That's what we need. Also, it must be so strange when you do a film because you're presumably filming all your stuff in isolation.
Yes.
So you've only got a vague idea as to how it's going to... I mean, you've read the script, obviously,
Yes,
but
yeah.
how it looks
will
when
all
it
fit
finishes.
together. I mean, we shot ours like we were presenting a TV show, like in a multicam setup. And Johnny in the TV show is like in a computer, so he was sort of in a separate booth, but in the room so he could improvise with us. It was crazy.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It's a lot to get your head around, but it does genuinely seem so funny, even just from that clip. It's very dry, mockumentary, classic, like, British comedy.
Yeah.
Good to see that back in the cinemas as well.
Yeah, and loads of brilliant, funny people in it.
Well, and also, never mind research for the role, because apparently you used to be
Oh,
a
God.
TV presenter.
Well, not really. Sort of. I left
That's how I
school.
feel.
There you go. I left school for a Saturday morning TV show that was on BBC called The Misty Show, and I played a character.
There you are.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so that's...
Who's that? Is it Misty?
That's Misty, yeah. So that's me at 17, I think.
You look great. I remember that hairstyle and everything. We all wanted, you know, half up. Yeah.
And what was
half
it?
down.
What was the show?
It was another confusing concept. It was a bit like, do you remember Sabrina the Teenage
Yes.
Witch? So it was kind of a...
British version.
Sure, that's a nice way of saying it. And Misty was half human, half fairy, so I would be presenting in character and then I would, like, be able to click my fingers and then McFly would be
great.
there. And we'd be spray painting a car for some reason. It was strange conceptually. It was good fun.
Yeah, it was so popular. I bet there'd be loads of people at home watching this going, that was my favourite show.
I hope so.
Yeah, I bet.
We have to talk The City Is Ours.
Yes.
I mean, it's done so well. It's sort of all over iPlayer, and, you know, and I can't turn on the radio without hearing, "It's the good life." You know, it's what is it about that show? Because it's really resonated with people.
We all love the show so much, everyone who's in it. I think it's that classic thing of following these characters who aren't particularly likeable, but you can't help but root for them. And it's a really exciting show to watch. Stephen Butchard's so good at writing these set pieces, and I just get so many messages from people saying, oh, my God, I couldn't breathe. I was holding my breath for that whole scene. Every episode's got a really great, like, set piece in it where you just don't know what's going to happen next.
I do love that about a crime drama where you think, how have they made me like this person? Because you do feel almost guilty.
Well, Succession was so good at that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So every scene you go, oh, I quite like them, and then show a chink of vulnerability, and then suddenly you go, oh, no, they're awful.
Yeah, they do something really brutal or savage.
But it's not just about... It's about a family around gangsters, isn't it? Which is, you know, what The Godfather was all about family.
Yeah, and succession and grief and betrayal. And it's also got a great sense of humour in there as well, so you get some good laughs along the way.
It's nice to see, you know, a female character in these type of... normally in these sort of mob-type shows, the female character can almost just be like a bit of a side... I don't know, like, you know, the girlfriend of...
They're certainly not wags in this.
No.
These women are really interesting, complicated characters. And I play Rachel, who's business savvy. She's a qualified accountant. She cleans the money and she wants to take her seat at the table. So when it really kind of kicks off between these two men of, like, who's going to step up...
Take on the family business.
Yeah, she's also got her eye on that prize.
Yeah, but that's great, because that's it. Like, brains in that kind of industry would be lethal. Yeah, very interesting.
We have to talk Kevin and Stacey before we let you go. Did you ever expect... I mean, obviously, it was a huge show before that last episode, but that last episode was just, like, what was it, 20 million people watched it? That's a third of the country. That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I mean, I think we were all nervous. I mean, I was nervous for many reasons about it getting out that I was in it, but I think we were all so nervous after how well the last Christmas special went. Will it live up to the same thing? And people just seem to embrace it so happily and so good-naturedly, and I feel like it delivered exactly what you want on Christmas, which is more than we...
Didn't you bump into Ruth and James in a lift or something? Is that how you got the job?
Yeah, no, well, maybe. I had already done... And then I was doing a screening for Archie at the Soho Hotel, and they came out of the lift when I was on my way down.
That's right, because they'd been script writing.
Yes,
You didn't know this at the time.
I didn't know this, but I knew they wrote together in hotels, and they looked quite flummoxed to see me. And I thought, oh, my God, maybe they're writing.
Well, they're writing or having an affair. One of the two.
Well, I did not think that. But then I also thought, well, they might be writing it and embarrassing me because I'm absolutely not in it. So I didn't know anything for sure.
Oh, I mean... Look, it was
maybe it was that eye. Like, you saw them and they were like...
She's got to be
She's
back.
working, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were the twist of all twists. We loved your bit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Time Travel is Dangerous is in cinemas across the UK now, and obviously... The
City Is Ours.
The City Is Ours on iPlayer. Thank you.
Pleasure. Can't wait to get bin.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
happened to Brighton, doesn't it?
It's all kicking off.
It's a dangerous place to be.
Returning for the latest series is D.S. Glenn Branson and Clea Murray, the stars of Grace, Richie Campbell and Zoe Tapper. Welcome.
Thanks for having
Saying that, Brighton, that's not a bad place to be for 6 months of the year, is it?
Especially in the summer.
Yeah.
Especially in the summer.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
It looks full on, though. It feels like this season's just come back with a bang straight away. Was it exhausting to film?
Yeah, the first episode that aired last night starts with this bomb in a football stadium, and that was the first week of filming, wasn't it, last year?
So you do film in order, do you?
We don't, but it just so happened that they did film that first, so it did feel like we absolutely got thrown in at the deep end. And then alongside all the sort of darker kind of sad storylines in the personal relationships, it did feel like quite a heavy one, didn't it, this year?
Definitely, yeah.
And you've just been recommissioned for a 6th series, which is fantastic.
We have.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we start filming end of April.
You look like... And we start filming end of April. Help, we haven't started. I suppose this is the thing you forget. Like, how many weeks did it take just to film that first episode we saw last night?
So it's each episode is 5 weeks, basically. But that football sequence was a week, and we had to get it in that week because that was the only time we had the stadium. We had the supporting artists, everything like that, so it was very full on.
I always wonder how they do big stadium-type things. Is it cheated cleverly, or was there hundreds of extras?
We did have a few extras, but it was cheated quite a bit. I mean, luckily, we're not allowed to say the stadium that we shot in, but the football season had just ended, so we had full reign of it. So we were running up and down the whole time.
Wow.
And now I'm just looking at the football stadium. Do I
know
where that is?
I bet you can.
Oh, that's really annoying. What I love about the show... I watched it last night and I was trying to cook while I was doing it, and then after a while I was like, forget all of this. I'm just going to sit down and watch it because it's punchy, isn't it? It's no let-up. It's relentless.
Yeah, and there are so many twists and turns, and you have to really keep your eye on the ball, otherwise you miss something. I think the writing really stands up on that front because you can't really second guess it, so you do have to concentrate. Can't be cooking at the same time, don't it?
No. How dare
Trust me, the raw potatoes were ruined by the end of it.
So the books are Peter James' books. Does he now write, do you think, with your characters in mind a little bit, or not?
He says that. He said that, yeah. He said that literally when he writes, he's got John's face and he's got my face, he's got Zoe's face. And that's just so crazy to me because it's like... He clearly he's lived with these characters for years now, and so he just says it's actually like a marker for him now that he can actually pinpoint certain facial expressions, or he thinks, you know, what we would do, which is great. I mean, we're on the books as well, which is...
What, literally on the covers?
On the cover of the books, yeah. We're going on holiday and you're going to W.H. Smith and you can literally see our faces. It's mad.
Has the TV show caught up with the books now? I remember in Game of Thrones when George Martin ended up kind of... Like, I think the TV show went out and it's not, I haven't finished it yet, so...
It's... I think we're nearly there, aren't we, in terms of the actual books, but... We've also sort of slightly veered away from them as well, haven't we? So there are... I think we are using the brilliant storylines and Peter James's amazing ideas and imagination, but kind of also finding our own way as well. So it's nice because even the fans of the books, I think, can expect something a bit different.
Yeah.
Well, talking of the fans, I mean, we just found out that Queen Camilla is a huge fan. I mean, is it a strange thought imagining her sat down last night with the family watching you?
Slightly, but she came on set.
You had a moment with her, didn't you?
Yeah, she actually came on set at season 3, which was really nice. And it was a scene where I was on the boats at Shoreham Harbour. So, and the thing is, she is a super fan. She knows everything about the show. So she was talking about the suits that I wear, being a snazzy dresser. And John and I were we were actually invited to Clarence's house, which was lovely.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's really
She's super chilled though, isn't she?
Super.
We did an ITV thing a couple of weeks ago, and she was down at Trigger Point. And I think she just ended up directing about 2 scenes. It was just like she was like action.
I think we need to get her in it.
I think,
actually.
yeah.
Oh,
She needs to
that
do a
would
cameo,
be such a good cameo.
So where does this series find your characters right now?
Well, Cleo starts this series in a very dark place, actually, because we left her last series very happily pregnant, and unfortunately, at the beginning of this series, we see that she's lost the baby, which is obviously just a really devastating blow for both of them. We don't delve into too much of the detail of that. It was quite a late-on pregnancy, so it would have been just absolutely profoundly shocking for them. So you see her in that frame of mind. She's depressed, she's off work, she's sort of trying to come to terms with it. And then as we progress through the series next week, we see her make the decision to go back to work. She feels like she needs to do that in order to try and forge forward.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be quite an intense thing to even prepare for. I know it's... Obviously, you're an actress, so you're very good at what you do, but still, that's digging into a very personal, deep thought process, isn't it? Imagining that.
I think that there's just a responsibility to depict something truthfully, because you obviously don't know the experiences of the people who are watching it, and it is I think even if you haven't suffered the loss of a baby, most people have suffered a bereavement, and so you do want to do it justice. So
Also,
it felt like a sort of responsibility.
Interesting, because we're not seeing it, so therefore what your part's doing is really dealing with the trauma after it, which is which is so harrowing for so many people.
Yeah.
What about you, Glenn? Because I mean, this guy is just the North Star, he's the moral compass. Where's he going? What's happening with him? Are we going to see any chinks?
I think we will. I think, at the end of the day, he is kind of the eyes and ears of the audience, and he's a good friend to John Sims, Roy Grace. And he's helping him along with the grieving situation as well. But he's also got his own dilemmas at home. Ari, his wife, is she's going through a tribunal at the moment because of she's administered penicillin, basically, to a patient who was allergic to it. And so once he kind of receives that information, he's just gone into police mode straight away. He's kind of saying, how did you do this? Why did you do this? What's going on? And that causes a fraction with their relationship. I mean, it's a bit full on.
That's what she really wants to hear.
I know, clearly not.
Investigating his wife,
Exactly. So there's going to be a bit of push and pull, but there's some stuff happening with them, which is great. And it seeps into work, which is the beautiful thing about the show and the characters. It's always about the human side kind of coming into their workplace.
That's why it's so successful, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Just quickly as well, you don't ever stop. Like, you're running in every episode.
He loves running. He loves running in those tight suits. He loves it.
It's my James Bond moment. I love it. I mean, it's like we're fighting in the sea, we're beating people up. I love it.
Literally, every name is in the mix for that role right now, so put yours in there.
I'm up for it. I'm up for it. Or a villain role. I'd rather play a villain, to be fair.
So much fun, wouldn't it? Bond villain.
Thank you,
Love
guys.
that. Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it. Series 5 of Grace continues this Sunday, 8 o'clock on ITV1 and ITVX. Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. Now it's time to welcome our next guest, who first shot to fame with her unforgettable role in Shameless.
But it was a standout performance in Bad Sisters that earned her a well-deserved BAFTA for Best Supporting Actress.
And as she gets ready to take on a groundbreaking new drama, the award-winning Anne-Marie Duff joins us now. We cannot have you here, firstly, without talking about Bad Sisters, and Dermot would not let it go. I mean, you are such a big fan. And you were coming in, he's coming in talking about it all
I've fanboyed her a few times now, so now it's just going to be awkward if I do it on TV.
Well done on the BAFTA.
Oh, thank you.
And do you all still meet up?
Oh, yes. Oh, I mean, the girls are so busy because they're so brilliant and successful. But yeah, everyone's
That must
in
be the
touch.
strangest thing when you take part in something like that and you get so tight so quickly and you have to. I know, is it Derber the
Dervla, yeah, the
Dervla,
director.
yeah,
She
director.
kind of made us all bond at the beginning.
I love that. You took pictures of each other. So by the time, it was almost like a boot camp, right? So by the time you started filming.
Friendship boot camp.
Yeah. But when you're with those people and you get so tight so quickly, and then you sort of, as soon as you cut, everyone's off to something else. And so you have
I
that.
know, it's a funny
you just sort of
old
like,
game.
you know, split up and you only see each other at
I think you
awards and
develop
stuff.
when you first start acting, you think, oh, I'm going to see these people every day forever.
Yeah.
And then you realise that, you know, there's next chapters and it can feel a bit sad, but then you kind of develop a muscle around it and get used to it. And you know that there's a kind of inevitability about people coming back together, working on different projects, and so you see each other again.
It's just a bond there, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
And especially with that show, because it was just all about... What I loved about it was set in Ireland, but it wasn't Cod Ireland, you know? It was set in a very...
made by the Irish tourist
Exactly.
board, yeah.
It was sort of like, it was properly... It felt like modern Ireland, you know?
That's Sharon, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just... And it was about sisterhood and family and all those things.
And the mess of it and the joy of it. Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel that... Did you feel that it was going to be... You know, sometimes you just get a whiff of something and you go, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
From the start.
When I read the very first... Because at the very beginning, we just got a couple of scripts and then little plots, synopses for the rest of the series. And I just thought, this is it. This is brilliant. This is just brilliant. And her irreverence and her writing, and it's always... It was slaloms between being really funny and really sad. And she does it so... She's so skillful.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a real... clearly, I thought, clearly this is going to be brilliant.
Do you know what? I'm such a fan of you. I think every role that you take on is incredible. And when I first saw you on Shameless, I thought, brilliant, a family just like mine. It was, it was so brilliantly done. Do you keep in touch with the cast there?
Well, I did see David Threlfall really recently, actually.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. But and we're all so proud of the young ones who've all grown up to become brilliant actors.
They have gone on to do incredible things.
I know. So yeah, that was another just a moment that we caught, you know, and also to make a show about poverty that hadn't really been done before in a again a bit like Sharon's writing, in a comedy drama way, not just misery. But showing that people who have nothing really love the bones of each other and really, you know, are there for each other. And it's a mess too, but it's not just people being cruel to each other because they are having a tough life.
Well, we want to talk about your new venture.
Absolutely. It's a brand new thriller. You're making headlines for a gripping storyline, but also for featuring predominantly deaf cast. Let's take a look.
When he first came out of prison, I thought, maybe I'll get my dad back. Maybe he's still a good person. Even after everything that happened, he was your friend, but you killed him. Why? But now, he's just some angry deaf man going around getting into fights.
You need to get Daniel Brennan back in prison. He's a murderer walking the streets. Recall him before it's too late.
More lies, more broken promises. So much for second chances, eh?
And then we're joined by Brian as well. And Brian, you've got your...
I'm just going to stop you. Everybody calls Brian Duffy.
Oh, really?
Because you got a name like Duff, you got to use it.
Duffy, so we're going to call you Duffy now then, Brian, that's it. And Duffy, we're also joined by your interpreter, Tasha. You all right, Tash?
Hello.
Hello, all right? Tash will be interpreting for you today. And not only did you have to learn the lines on this, you've picked up sign language in 6 weeks. I mean, how have you done it?
Because I had this great teacher. That's how.
And you're a very strict teacher, I've heard, as well.
Well, kind of. You know, I can be tough, but to be fair, you know, you took on a massive role, a massive responsibility, and learned sign language, you know, in a very short space of time. And the fact that you did that, you know, if someone could try and learn Spanish, Chinese or Japanese, they would struggle. But the fact that you did that. But yeah, my methods are pretty brutal. But yeah, Anne-Marie did brilliantly.
So, Duffy, how did you get involved with the show?
Well, William Major, he's the writer. He saw some work that I did with I Hate Susie, with Billy Piper and Daniel Ings. And he was really impressed with that. What's a relief. Anyway, we had a bit of a chat. We both have a real passion about seeing British Sign Language on screen. And so, yeah, that's how we got into it.
Nice. And Anne-Marie, can you just talk us through your role?
Yes, so the main protagonist of the show, played by Matthew Gurney, brilliant Matthew Gurney, is a man who's leaving prison and he's served his time for murder. He's deaf. And it starts to explain just immediately what the deaf experience is. But that's not what the show is all about. The show is an incredible thriller. He served his time for murder. He murdered my husband. And they were very, very, very close friends. So it's a profoundly difficult time for me. I'm just about to move on in my life, and then my husband's murderer comes back into my panorama.
It's a great first episode.
It's a brilliant first episode.
I watched the first one last night and I was totally hooked. And one of the important things is it's an incredibly inclusive drama, both behind and in front of the screen, Duffy. I mean, the thing that stuck out for me was the party, which I was cooking last night and then I was like, stopped and went, well, hang on a minute, it's just like there's music playing, but it's sign language. It was just mesmeric.
Yeah.
Wasn't really a question, more of a statement.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is it a question? No, it's not a question, right, OK.
Yeah, welcome to my news. Sorry. Doesn't really go anywhere.
And what gets me is, you know, less than 1% of the deaf community work behind the camera or in front of the camera. So this has really opened up the world to being more inclusive. And what do you hope that this does for future programmes?
Well, it's always about people feeling seen.
Yeah.
And that's what culture's job is.
Yeah.
To represent every colour of the rainbow. And Rose Ayling-Ellis, who plays my daughter in the show, brilliant, brilliant Rose, she talked very beautifully about what it feels like to be marginalised. She's so eloquent about it, as we know. But she also talked about walking onto a set where she suddenly wasn't the only one. And because, you know, an unprecedented amount of the crew were deaf, which was just brilliant. Warp Films, who are also responsible for Adolescence, incredible production company, made this with the BBC, and they committed to the whole notion of representation, didn't they? And, you know, and we felt every day how beautiful it was, you know.
Duffy, how important was that for you?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I grew up watching cinema. I'm a big love of cinema. And, but where are my people? Where am I represented on screen? And, you know, I think deaf people represented in kind of, you know, a vulnerable place. So I think the fact that, you know, William and Warp came together and, you know, have shown this on screen, you know, they show the vulnerability and the strengths of what a deaf person can bring to screen. And I think that's really, really important for representation.
Because it's kind of crazy. You put the TV on, you don't even see anyone signing in an advert.
Do you know what? Thank you for doing this for the deaf community. Thank you so much.
I feel lucky to have been part of it, you know, because that's my privilege, you know, so I'm...
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Thank you, Duffy.
Thank you.
Tash as well. Good to have you all with us. Reunion
Thank
starts
you.
Monday, 9 o'clock on BBC.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Well, Steve, and the real-life inspiration behind the film, Tom Michelle, join us now on This Morning.
Morning, chaps.
Can I just say, when I heard about this story, all I kept saying, I kept going, it's a true story. It's an actual true story. How did you first hear about the story, Steve?
Well, Tom here wrote a book called The Penguin Lessons many years ago, and Jeff Pope, who's my colleague and sometime co-writer, I was working with him on another project, and he said, I'm writing this screenplay based on this book about Tom Michelle. Do you want to play him? And my initial reaction was, I don't want to be in a sort of cuddly, cute movie about a penguin. That's not really my thing.
Yeah.
But we talked about perhaps taking Tom's story and adapting it and bringing in some other elements. And one of the main liberties we took is that we made my character... Look, Tom's quite a decent chap. Mostly decent. And,
you don't know me that well.
I know. That's give me the benefit of the doubt. But what we did was we made my character... My version of Tom more cynical, if you like, and disengaged and a bit more selfish.
Yeah.
And the penguin that Tom really did rescue, as depicted in the film, becomes a catalyst for my character to learn to be less cynical and a more productive, kind member of society.
So, Tom, you're set in Argentina, and you were there teaching in the 70s, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So what brought you there in the first place?
As a youngster, I'd always wanted to travel. My family had various members scattered around the globe. And South America was one place that none of the family had any connection with.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to go there. I wanted to go and a real terra incognita. And when I saw an advert in a newspaper for a teacher in a public school in Argentina, I wrote and said, look no further, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And because of the chaos in Argentina, I imagine they had no other applicants, so that's why I got the job.
Because this is it, it's set in the backdrop of the turmoil, the military dictatorship and so forth.
Yes, I mean, it was the end of the Peronist regime, and the country was in chaos. We had inflation running at 100% a month. Nothing worked, electricity, trains, and everybody said it's a bad time to go because of the economics, because there's going to be a coup, and I just couldn't wait to get out there. I didn't want it to happen before I got there.
Yeah.
But when you wrote the story, you initially put it out there for free, didn't you?
Well, yes. I mean, when I came back to England and had my children of my own, when they were tackers, bedtime stories were about Juan Salvador the penguin, and they grew up And my wife came to think, you must write that story down because they're going to want to tell their children, and you'll be dead at the time, something cheerful like that, and they will want to know. So I wrote it out, and more people kept saying, oh, can we read it? And my printer was, expensive, so I put it up on Kindle, so I could just say, go and look it up. And I didn't believe anybody would find it, because if you search Penguin, what comes up is 20th century literature or whatever, published by Penguin. And within days, less than a week, I got an email from Animal Planet, Disney's production, saying, can we talk about this?
Wow.
And my jaw hit the floor. Again, I mean, everything associated with this penguin has dominated my life from the day I picked it up. And it's been an extraordinary journey.
And how much of what you see, Steve's depiction of you, how much of that resonates with you? Were you, at the time, were you quite weary about life? Or?
No, absolutely not. I was in my early 20s, and I wanted to travel, and in many ways, Steve's character is the antithesis of mine.
Yeah.
I was young, he was somewhat older. Our motives for doing things were entirely different. But the film about the penguin, which, and it is exactly as it is in the book, and they've done a brilliant job on that. But Steve brings something to the character which is much more interesting than a 23-year-old, because it has colour and variety and change.
Yeah. So this is real footage. This is real footage.
This is real footage.
You're in the 70s with this penguin. This is the real penguin.
This is Juan Salvador.
So Steve, was the
AI could never have produced it because you can identify the members of staff at the college.
Oh my God! So Steve, was the penguin in the film? Was it robotic, or how did you do it?
No, there were lots of all real penguins. We never used any CGI penguins. There was one robot penguin. Whenever the penguin was required to do something distressing, then we'd use the robot. I mean, and it's quite believable. I carry it around in a bag, and that's probably spoiling it for people, really. But if I throw it into the sea, I'm not throwing a real penguin into the sea. So we had sort of fake ones and real ones. But most of the time it was two real penguins called Baba and Richard, who were a couple because penguins mate for life. And
bitey?
What?
Were they bitey?
One of them was a bit bitey. Richard, if he had a bad morning and I was being too friendly with him or petting him too much, would nip me, flick his head around and nip my... But I kind of liked that because I had to work harder for his affection. I don't want it to be too easy. But he treated me mean, kept me keen.
And Tom, when you were there and you found the penguin on a week in Uruguay, is that right? Yeah. Did you try and put it back in the ocean?
I did. It was one penguin was alive on this beach full of dead penguins, and my initial reaction was, perhaps I can clean it up and release it again. So I took it back to the flat, washed it, cleaned it, got most of the tar off, and then I didn't want a pet. I didn't want an animal to look after. It was far too difficult. So I tried to release it. And I tried really quite hard, and it would not go. And it kept coming back to me. And, in the back of my mind was this voice saying, you've washed out its waterproofing, it can't survive in the sea.
Yeah.
So you've taken the responsibility of cleaning it, now you've got to look after it.
Yeah.
I was due to go back to Argentina and start teaching, so I thought, well, it's got to come with me, hasn't it?
What did the boys make of at the school about the penguin?
Well, like any animal and children, they were like magnets. They attracted each other, and so looking after the penguin became quite easy for me because the boys would, a full boarding school. The boys would go up to the market and buy sprats, which I paid for, but it was mere nothing, and they would feed it and they would wash down the terrace, and it was really good for the boys who weren't particularly stars at rugby or academically or whatever. And it was a lovely time watching them.
That's amazing. I just cannot get over that this is a true story.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, last night, one of the boys from the school at the time was in the audience. He was an invitee of mine. And we were just saying he's probably the only person, certainly there last night, but perhaps in the country at the moment, who witnessed that penguin and fed him, apart from me, which was actually rather nice to have him there.
It was, yeah. So it was. I mean, having the penguins on set was actually there's that old adage in show business: don't work with animals or children, and I worked with both of them. on this, and but the Penguin actually was a really calming experience because it gave us, rather than it being chaotic, it sort of kept everyone calm because you're not allowed to shout and.
Well, you've got to keep very quiet. Have you?
Everyone has to be very serene, so it actually calmed everything down rather than made everything chaotic.
Tom, just before we go, it's so lovely the story that you wrote it for your children. You put it on Kindle, but the fact that it's been adapted now and as a film,
Well,
Steve and
yes,
Jeff have
this little incident 50-odd years ago has just kept multiplying and multiplying. For a few people knowing about it, to tens, to hundreds, to thousands, and now of a film it's going to be hundreds of thousands or even millions of people. It's the most extraordinary journey.
Yeah, and the book's still out.
Oh, yeah. The Penguin lessons, yes, it's there.
Available in print and Kindle.
Well, yes, and what do I say? It's easy to remember Penguin lessons in schools and what did one learn from a penguin.
Thank you,
And
Steve.
a wholesome thing we can watch at the cinema. Lovely that you can go and watch with your family.
Absolutely. The Penguin Lessons is released in the cinema on the 18th of April. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Well, we're delighted that Diamond, Apollo and Comet join us now ahead of the semi-finals this weekend. Good morning to you all.
Morning.
It's really funny because I saw you downstairs and you weren't in your
Not
outfit.
in costume, no.
And then you suddenly seen your outfit and it all comes to life. It's so exciting. Liv, Diamond, lovely to see you again.
Yeah.
How has the reaction to this series been since we saw you at the start of the series?
Amazing. As you can imagine, people are just absolutely loving it. They're loving series 2. So excited. The amount of messages that we get, and when we see people in the street, out shopping, everything, the response is just absolutely lovely as usual. And people just want more as well, which is great.
Yeah, we had Bradley and Barney on, didn't we, the other day? And they were talking about how the feeling in the stadium is just amazing.
Yeah.
Can you feel that from the fans too? And what's the reaction like when you see kids out in the street?
Oh, just wonderful. Different reactions. Some are really, really shy, and then when you leave, you can see them jumping up and down, and it's wonderful. But we did appearance at Blue Water a couple of weekends ago, and it was just so wonderful seeing all the fans, and they waited for so long to see us. So we just wanted to give back.
7 hours?
7 hours.
But because there was just so many of them?
Yeah.
Just...
Wow. They cut the door off at 10 a.m, so it would have been going all night, probably.
Yeah. 100%.
Wow, that's amazing.
All the little faces and everything, all the posters they were making. There was even a few there was one in a diamond outfit as well. It was wonderful. Yeah.
And we didn't see a lot of you last year because you got yourself injured.
Yeah, I injured myself really early on, which was just so gutting. But the team were just amazing, and all I had in my mind was season 2, I've got to make it for that. And not only did I have to then recover from that injury, but I also then had the gladiator training on top to get back to peak fitness. So it was such a huge year for me. But I'm just so grateful to be in this position, and it was just nice to have a full season under my belt.
Was it hang tough that you fell really badly?
Yes,
and
it was.
Oh, I think this was. Is this the moment? Or you're going to have to... we're going to have to relive this. So you had to do it again this year. What was it like going back and doing it again with those memories?
Yeah, I mean, so actually after that, I had to stand up and do an interview, so no one actually knew that I was injured. So I kind of forward-rolled myself off of the mat and stood next to Bradley and did a chat, so no one knew. And then it was only when I got backstage that I was like, guys, I need a medic. Getting back up again was scary, and I was going through a process in my head, and it took me a little bit longer to get the contender down because I was kind of like, my legs aren't working here. OK, now I'm going to go one arm, then I'm going to go 2 arms, and you just go, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. Apollo, now there's obviously competitiveness between you and the competitors, obviously, but there also seems to be a little bit of rivalry. There's Viper and there's Legend. What's going on between all the gladiators?
Well, look, there's a lot of big egos in the team, right? And just sometimes...
Is this the biggest thing? Is that what you're saying?
Biggest ego. Yeah, it's sometimes you just got to put people in check. You know what I mean? And there's a bit of that coming up. So make sure you guys tune in
this weekend.
What's happening? Give us a...
I can't give you too much. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm already being told by my PR agent, don't say too much. I'm the one that gets in trouble for all this stuff. So
all the time.
Don't stop now.
No.
Don't stop now.
I don't know. I'm not here to get anyone in trouble.
So let's not talk about the fighting between the gladiators, but can we talk about the romance between the gladiators?
What are you referring to?
A little bit of something going on between you and...
Rooms, all that.
You're going to make these two jealous. So
there was a little shot in the locker room. You and Sabre. What's the story behind this?
Hey, look.
Apollo doesn't kiss and tell, all right, guys. So there's not a lot to say. We are great friends. She's an amazing woman, just like all the other gladiators are. But to everyone at home, Apollo is still in business. So, Kat, you've still got a chance.
Oh, wow.
Apollo's still in business.
You two as well, mate. Like, I'm not...
Yeah,
I'll try.
it's growing. The ego's growing.
Oh, my goodness, it's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
The ego. The ego.
Yeah, well, you said it.
What about the contenders this season?
They were tough.
Yeah.
They've definitely upped their game, and I feel like because they saw it last year, they've kind of gone away and trained as well. So everyone's just leveled up, and they're coming fierce and feisty.
Yeah, the semi-finals this weekend is a big one. So you've got Xavier and you've got Anelia as well, and they're both amazing contenders. They really do bring it, so it's going to be a good show.
Yeah. Didn't one of them break one of the gladiators' records already as well? I thought one of them did the
We've had a couple of guys break the travel record. Sorry, the eliminator record.
Yeah, the eliminator.
That was getting broken week on week. I mean, that's how exciting the show has been.
By the contenders.
Yeah. So
wow, so they really did up their game then.
Yeah, all four of the guys, all four of the girls that have made it to the semi-finals this year probably would have been good enough to go and win it last year.
Wow.
So we've taken a step up, definitely. It's been great.
Well, we can't wait to watch it. Can't wait. Gladiators continues this Saturday at 5:50 on BBC One and BBC iPlayer.
Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
And on World Autism Day, Sally joins us now. Good morning, Sally.
Morning, Sally.
Thank you. We went straight into chatting about just how much we love this series and how it's just a breath of fresh air and just a delightful comedy.
I'm so pleased.
I'm
so pleased.
fun.
I think the idea for it was Ben Miller and Darren Ashton, who's the Australian director. All of Australia and indeed the world fell in love with Michael on Love on the Spectrum.
Yes.
And he was looking unsuccessfully for love, and they thought, is there a world in which we can do a comedy show where he finds love? And so that's the sort of arc over a few series if we manage to do them. And he's acting for the first time and he's absolutely brilliant.
I couldn't believe it. I watched Love on the Spectrum, which if you haven't seen Love on the Spectrum, it's lots of young, neurodivergent people who are trying to find girlfriends or boyfriends.
Girls and boys.
Girls and boys,
Yeah.
mixture. And you watch them on this extraordinarily charming, fascinating journey. And he was one of the characters that emerged that you're all so drawn to. You're desperate for him to find love, all of them to find love. And then watching him in this, Sally, I had no idea he'd never acted before.
No. And what's really fascinating is that his mum said he kind of learned to talk by watching cartoons. So he would sit and watch cartoons and repeat, do impressions.
What the characters were saying.
Yeah. And so rather than being parents saying, you mustn't watch any telly, they were like, oh, I think this is really good.
Yeah.
And then he would use the sentences from cartoons and communicate with those. So use the things that he'd learned that Master Shifu had said or whoever it was. And he still does a great Master Shifu impression.
From Kung Fu Panda.
From Kung Fu Panda,
We've got boys, so we know these things.
Yeah.
How much... So Ben and yourself, you go back many years at university together.
Yes.
You've been trying to work together many years. But how much of Michael's lived experience sort of drove what his behaviour was and his character was doing?
It totally formed it, really. And I think Michael... I mean, what's great is I feel like when you watch this, you go, oh, hang on, in these 70s, 80s and 90s, we had people pretending to be autistic for comic effect. Whereas now we've got Michael, where the autism is it just comes for free and he's released to play a full human being. He's not just acting the disability.
Yeah.
And so he felt quite strongly that, young Sheldon, there was a portrayal of autism in the media where people were selfish and ungenerous and didn't have emotions and didn't care for other people. And he's incredibly caring. So he really steered the way the character was formed and where the stories came about. And all of us kind of improvised our lines. So I think the characters...
Really?
To some extent.
Yeah.
To some extent, yeah. So... I don't know. I think it's just been a really interesting way of working. A British comedy meeting Australian comedy and hopefully becoming more grounded for that.
It's so much fun to watch, and he's so... You just fall in love with Michael. You can't help
not.
You can't help
And that's
it.
partly because he's completely undefended.
Yes, there's no facade, is there?
No, he just brings all of himself to it. And, it's incredibly touching and also makes him quite vulnerable, I guess. So
yes.
At the end of it, he was very, very upset because he'd been very, powerfully immersed in this virtual world where he had a new dad and stepmom and a sister, and it made us realise, of course, it's a really weird thing we do, that we go in and we live this alternative life for a bit and then we just drop it and move on.
Yeah, but I mean, his character, obviously, Austin, is the central character, but then there's your guys' characters as well that kind of revolve around
I feel like
it, and
we're
you're
the
really
egg
funny.
cup. We're the egg cup for Austin. So he's the star. It's really about him. It's a young man trying to find out who he is, find out what his identity really is. He's never known who his dad is. And it turns out it's Ben Miller's character, Julian, who is a children's book author, and I'm his wife. So we're a children's book author-illustrator pair. And we're averagely talented, but for some reason our books have become very successful. And we're on a book tour out to Australia.
Okay.
And at this point, his mother tells him, well, actually, you weren't a sperm donor conception. This was your dad. And he turns up and meets us.
And then there was a twist in it as well, where it was right as your relationship started as well.
Exactly. So Julian, Ben, was unfaithful to me right at the beginning of the relationship. So from my point of view, it was a fascinating thing to act, because he was unfaithful right at the beginning of the relationship, before we got married.
Yes.
But there is this son, so he has been unfaithful, but we've had a very successful marriage ever since. 28 years of successful marriage.
Yes.
But it just creates a fissure in the relationship that gets wider and wider over series 1 and 2.
And there's a little bit of professional trauma as well, because Ben's character has retweeted something about free speech, but turns out that actually it was a white supremacist that he's retweeted. So he's being cancelled at the same time.
And so then because Ben is allergic to being worthy, and so Ben's character is... he meets this son for the first time and has zero interest in getting to know him as a human being, but realises that the fact that he's autistic might work well for him in getting rehabilitated after this cancellation.
Yes.
So we get to know each other, but him for all the wrong reasons. And so, you know, Austin is this sweet,
catalyst for so much in it as well.
Exactly.
You've got 3 boys, all divergent, neurodivergent in some way or other, of course. And I'd imagine that sort of a character like Austin will be really important for them to see. Ollie, particularly, who everybody will know.
Ollie hero worships Michael, so Michael came to stay with us. And Ollie really loves... Well, I actually really luck out with my on-screen kids. I have never had a dud. I'm so lucky. So I really do have the best on-screen kids. And Ollie really loves meeting them. So Ollie, who has Down syndrome and autism himself, loves Michael. And, yeah, he's a real role model for him.
Yeah.
Michael doesn't have an intellectual disability, whereas Ollie does. But for Ollie to see people like Michael making it on TV and being charming, that's massive. And I think, you know, I just think what was so interesting for us is we were, you know, mentally thinking is this going to be a big deal? Is Michael going to have loads of, you know, sensitivities, auditory sensitivities? Is it going to be a real problem? And the news was there was no news. It was exactly the same as working with anybody else.
Brilliant.
And when we came to the UK, we tried to have a mainly neurodiverse crew.
Right.
And the news there was it was exactly the same as working with a crew that didn't identify as neurodiverse. So it's just not such a big deal.
Love it.
That's the...
Which is exactly how it should be.
Which is exactly how it should be.
Exactly how it should be. I started watching Bridget Jones, the latest one, last night. I didn't get all the way through because I was going to bed early, but it's so good. It won't be the last, will it?
Well, I've always been completely wrong. My predictions have been wrong. So after the first one, I said, no, I think that's it. I think it's done.
Really?
And we did number 2. And the number 2 is not my favourite, lots of people's not favourite. So people said, will there be another one? And I said, I don't think so. I think that's it. And then there was a third one. And people said, will there be another one? I said, no, that really is done now. She's married Mark Darcy now. And there's a 4th one. So now I would say, no, there's not going to be another one, because surely that was the end. I mean, that was the intention. This was the last one. But it has been the most successful. So...
Do you think it's the best one, Sally?
I think it's great.
Well, what I love being older is that the love in the film is not just romantic love. It's asking all these questions of does love last forever? What's the meaning of life? It's just sort of much bigger in scope, and the jokes are much smaller in a way. It's much more sort of real world. So I do love it, and Renee is amazing.
Does a fruit fly live on?
Does it live forever? Exactly. When I was told about this, I met someone and they said, oh, no, it's never going to happen, the 4th one. They've got Mark Darcy returning from the dead as an owl. And that didn't sound good. But it works, doesn't it work? It's so
I've
great.
laughed, I've cried. I'm still only halfway through, and I felt tears dripping off my nose as I was lying in bed watching
and she's
it.
just so amazing.
But
and
laughing.
Richard Coles, who is Tom, the character of Tom, He told me that he and his friends have all bought houses in Sussex, in a village to be near each other, so they can be each other's retirement village.
Right.
So maybe that will happen to Bridget. Maybe
they'll end up
we'll
in a
come back
retirement
like
village.
in 20 years from now.
Exactly.
We'll all be in some kind of village.
Bridget's baby's baby.
Bridget's baby's baby.
There
Bridget,
you go.
Yeah.
It's got a ring
We've come
to
up
it,
with
Sally.
an idea.
Glamorous granny competition.
Thank you for popping in.
you.
It's
Thank
lovely
you
to see
so
you. We
much for having
absolutely
me.
loved Austin.
Austin.
I'm so glad you did.
And you've already filmed the second series as well.
We have. Yeah, that's the Love series. So hopefully you won't have to wait too long for that.
Amazing. Well, look, Austin, that we're talking about, starts on Friday, 9:30 on BBC One and BBC iPlayer. You will love it. Honestly, it's one of the most fun, enjoyable series I've seen in a long time.
Fun and, just gorgeous.
I'm so happy you liked it. What
Lovely
a
to see
relief.
you, Sally.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Though he is a footballing icon, one of my favourite players of all time. 78 caps for England, 87 career goals. Played for West Ham, more importantly. He had a left foot that sent shivers down the spine of the opposition. Stuart Pearce is a true legend of our game.
But last month, on a journey home from the US, he experienced a medical emergency mid-air when at 33,000 feet, his heart went into overdrive.
Now, thanks to the quick action of the Virgin Atlantic crew, the plane was able to make an emergency landing and Stuart was able to get the treatment he needed in time to save his life. And he joins us now alongside his wife, Carol. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Stuart, it's lovely to see you looking so well.
Yeah.
You're full of the joys of spring.
Of course, you've got to be, haven't you?
Yeah.
Especially if you've had this moment that actually could have been a lot worse. Just explain a little bit about where you were. You've been in Vegas, is that right? Had you been indulging in the typical Vegas way?
Well, we went to Vegas for 5 days, done a couple of shows, done the Punk Rock Museum, as you would expect as
Amazing.
well. And more importantly, the rugby. We're Warrington Wolves fans, so we went out to watch Warrington versus Wigan.
So they were having a big sort of show game over there to try and find
one
American
of the
fans.
Super League games they took to Vegas for a profile for the rugby. Fantastic. So on the way back, just at the airport, my chest felt a little bit tight, a little bit heavy. I thought it may be a bit of indigestion or something of that nature. Got on the plane and it was it felt as though someone was sort of sat on my chest, if you like. So after a couple of hours, I tried to sleep it off, to be honest with you. After a couple of hours, and I should have picked my word in slightly better, I said to Carol, I don't think I'm going to make Heathrow. I meant without telling the aircrew. Carol thought, he's pegged it. He's done.
He's pegged it. Have you ever struggled with your heart before or had any kind of medical conditions?
Nothing at all. As I say, the history of my family, nothing at all in that at all. My brothers and sisters are much older than me. They're fine. I don't drink. I don't smoke.
You really look after yourself.
Yeah, within reason.
So, Carol, you're sitting there, and obviously you know him inside out. For him to make a fuss about something physically, is that quite unusual?
Yeah, very unusual. Very unusual. Other than man flu, which I know is...
That knocks me off.
Well, it affects everyone
clearly a
terribly,
huge
doesn't
deal.
it?
Other than that, for him to say he's in pain, that immediately made my blood run cold because you think, OK, this is serious. Because Stuart doesn't do being ill, he doesn't do pain.
Making a fuss?
No, he played with a broken leg. I mean,
wow.
You kind of... Yeah, so I knew it was serious when he said to me, you know, I'm not going to make Heathrow.
And then, so then what's the process at that point? Because, of course, you're in the air at this point and you understand if you tell people, then there could be some ramifications.
Yeah, I mean, you went and spoke with the aircrew. They were magnificent on Virgin. I've got to say, one of the stewardesses come and sat next to me and went through the procedure. They've been trained, which really, going forward, we travel a lot. So going forward, it really put my mind at ease. If you are travelling, you're in really good hands, even if you're up in the air, in the main. They looked after us, moved us forward down the aeroplane, sat us up, hooked me up to a cardiogram.
An
ECG machine.
So they could track what your heart rate was doing.
And then,
so at the time, your heart rate was getting very fast, is that
my resting heart rate was 155 upwards.
Goodness me.
And how did you feel at that point? Were you then short of breath as well as feeling this pressure on your chest?
Just the real pressure on my chest more so. It was as though when you did breathe in, as though it wasn't sufficient for the demand, you know, slightly. But in the main, yeah, as I say, you're never sure, because I've never experienced anything like that. And I have regular checks with my union, the League Managers Association. Last summer, I went for all the checks and everything, no problems at all.
And at that point, when they've hooked you up, are the crew then talking to a medical team that are down on the ground as well?
Literally that, yeah. They hooked up with a doctor, send all the readings down there, put me on oxygen, and he's guiding them, but they're trained as well, which, you know, when people around you, you know, that are quite well trained, you know what I mean? It puts your mind at rest anyway.
I know one of the reasons you wanted to come in and share your story was so you could thank the crew as well, because they really did look after you brilliantly, didn't they?
Oh, 100%. I mean, firstly, the crew, and they were first point of contact, but on top of that, you know, the hospital in Canada was brilliant for us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, bear in mind, you know, we were in Africa camping before Christmas, so if the same thing would have happened there, it would have been a very different experience.
Yeah.
And then, on top of that, obviously, we're sat in the hospital bed watching the Forest Man City game, and they've done a minute's applause, and we're watching the game and think, hang on, one of the old Forest players must have died or something. I'm looking, hang on, it's me, you know what I mean? And I'm up on the board. It was really humbling. I must say, Ben, it was so humbling that, you know...
Well, there's a lot of love for you out there, which is important.
It
but
was
also,
lovely.
we know, because you wanted to thank her, we thought we'd bring her in today. Zoe Anderson.
Zoe.
Here's Zoe.
Zoe.
Who's the onboard manager, who was exactly the person you were talking about, who came and sat down with you.
Great to see you.
As a
Good
surprise.
morning, Zoe. Good
Wow,
morning.
So you could say... Now, Zoe, thank you for coming in, by the way. Thank you for looking after this national treasure as well as you did, because we do worry about him. And it's an interesting thing that Stuart says, is actually that you were able to sit down and talk him through and put a lot of their concerns at ease. What happens when something like that happens to an onboard passenger, and what was it like sitting next to Stuart and hearing what he was going through?
So we are trained to deal with these situations. We go through quite extensive training. So when things like this happen, you know, we're prepared to deal with it. So when Carol initially came and spoke to me, I sat down with Stuart, did the sort of initial assessment, because sometimes with chest pain, it could just be something simple. It might not be something as serious. But after talking to Stuart and knowing some of your symptoms, I think you said your pain was about 8 out of 10. It started to raise some alarm bells, so we thought we needed to sort of act on that.
And then you were talking to the medical crew down on the ground. I mean, I didn't even know that protocol existed. It's actually really reassuring when you hear the story.
Yeah.
And they said, OK, well, at this point, we've got to make a decision. Are we going to land the plane, or are we going to take it across the Atlantic? And they didn't recommend that you did go across the Atlantic, because then there would be nowhere to land. So what was the next stage?
So we had Stuart hooked up to an ECG monitor.
Yeah.
I think we're the only airline in the UK to have that equipment. So we were able to send that straight down to the doctor that I was speaking to. My colleague, the flight service manager, Callum, he was doing the readings while I was in the cockpit talking to the doctors. So we had all that information to sort of relay back and forth. And then obviously we did a few different readings. When they said that all of them were abnormal, we made the decision that we didn't want to be halfway across the Atlantic.
That's a heavy decision to make, Stuart. How do you feel when the crew say, right, we're going to divert the plane, we're going to land in Canada, because there's a plane full of passengers that want to get home?
Yeah, there was a lot of rugby league fans on there, so I think they had a little bit of sympathy with me, because I was one of them, if you like. But I was sort of in and out of consciousness. I was sleeping and then waking, sleeping and waking. And then next thing we know, we're landing in Newfoundland.
So you weren't really conscious that the plane had been done, because you were struggling, your heart rate and stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine getting a bit of sleep is probably one of the most important things.
Exactly that. I was trying to sort of sleep it off and sleep it through. To be honest with you, I did feel slightly better going down the front, the oxygen and stuff like that. Aspirin was given to me to thin the blood and stuff. But, you know, I can't speak highly enough of the crew. It's quite incredible, honestly. I always felt as though if you get ill on an aeroplane, worst place in the world to be ill, you know, but it sort of give me a newfound rest assuredness, if you like. You know?
And we landed in Canada in -11.
Yeah.
Having come from
23
Vegas.
degrees
it was
in
boiling,
Vegas.
right?
So bless Zoe, she gave us a little care package with some water and snacks and stuff and a couple of blankets as well. So
Really
she made
looked after
sure we went up with,
And I'd imagine
brilliant.
Zoe as well. I mean, Stuart's a high-profile person anyway, but there's going to be people on the plane. If suddenly you're turning around and saying, we have a passenger with a medical emergency, we're going to have to divert, that can be quite scary for them as well.
Of course, yeah. So it was a team effort to make sure that Stuart, first and foremost, was being looked after. But the crew all worked together to make sure that everybody was calm and no one was worrying. So, yeah, it was a real team effort to make sure that everyone was looked after.
But I think it really stemmed from you, though, as well, Zoe, where you kept your cool. When, you know, when everybody else was kind of worried and concerned, rightly so, but you kept your cool, and I think that just kind of then reflected in everybody else as well. Is there anything you'd like to say to Zoe?
Well, we can only, as a pair, say thank you very much. You know, the professionalism that you showed on the day was brilliant. You know, if, you know, I was quite calm, reasonably calm anyway, I'm sure, but if you've got passengers that are very nervous and this sort of thing happens, and rightly so, that level of composure and the backup and the training as well, you said, no, it's OK, we've been, you know, you fully assured me, look, we've been trained at this, it's not a problem, you know?
It's definitely a calming influence.
Really good.
She kept us calm.
Fantastic. Credit to the...
Credit to Virgin.
Well, we're thrilled that you come in. Can we just check, have you worked out what it was? Was it just an anomaly?
They think a virus just attacked my heart. That they think I've got...
was it because Warrington lost? Is that what it was?
The performance didn't help. It's like watching West Ham, so just watch yourself.
I love the ribbing.
I've got an angiogram this week, echo next week, so they'll just keep on top of it and hopefully everything will be fine going forward.
We're thrilled that you can be here to share that story. And Zoe, to all the team, you did an incredible job. And it is, as Stuart and Carol were saying, so reassuring to know. Because often we'd all think, you know, we're up in the air, what have you got? But you're so brilliantly trained and it really came to the fore. So thank you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you both.
Pleasure, and
thank you.
Thanks for having Zoe on today. I mean, we didn't know, you know what I mean? It was a surprise, but absolutely brilliant.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And they've not even been married that long. This is what he's doing to her, by the way.
No.
Not already. Really?
Yeah.
You don't have to put up with him for...
When you say really, you're looking at my age, aren't you?
Really?
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.